Welcome to the February 10th meeting of the Air Planning Board. This meeting hearing the Air Planning Board will be held in person at the location provided on this notice. Members of the public are welcome to attend this in-person meeting. Please note that while an option for remote attendance and/or participation via Zoom is being provided as a courtesy to the public, the meeting hearing will not be suspended or terminated if technological problems interrupt the virtual broadcast unless otherwise required by law. Members of the public with a particular interest in a specific item on this agenda should make plans for in-person versus virtual attendance accordingly. This meeting will be live on Zoom. The public may access the proceedings by joining Zoom meeting ID 978-772-8220 and by calling 929-205-6099. For additional information about remote participation, please contact Danny Ruiz, Town Planner, at druiz@air.ma.us or 978-772-8220, extension 144 prior to the meeting. All right, first matter of business is to approve the agenda. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Seconded.
Any discussion? I will just make a comment. You'll notice under project plan, just notice we do have something for project status updates, but we will not be updating Lincoln Hill at this meeting. We have a special meeting Thursday, 6 o'clock at Town Hall in the Great Hall on the 3rd floor. Right?
Second floor.
Second floor, sorry, the second floor. And yes, his office is the 3rd floor. Second floor, Great Hall, Thursday evening at 6. We're going to focus on Lincoln Hill. That said, oh yes, please, Kathleen.
I don't understand how the docs get there, but on the website that's like the planning board minutes and agenda, this meeting is missing, but the 212 meeting is there. I don't know how this
I can talk to the
town
clerk's office about that.
Yeah, because I couldn't find a digital agenda,
Okay.
but maybe
Yeah, that's how
because I always go through that web page, but maybe I'm doing it wrong.
So there's one right here on the upcoming events planning board, and
But that's just the
no,
public.
that's
Yeah.
Oh, okay, wait. So, sorry. Can you just go back? You went.
So just as a quick one, so planning board on the upcoming events, or you can
Okay.
find it on the calendar.
Uh-huh.
So if you go there, and then under the related agenda, you'll see
Okay.
right there.
It's on your left side menu that I went, and that's where I had trouble. I had the same problem.
Yeah, so the website, so this on the
Yeah.
a website, we're currently in the transition to the new website, working on that, so not every page gets updated.
Okay.
Right now, we're hoping to transition to the new website by the end of the month, but so,
Okay.
it's
Yeah,
kind
thanks.
of,
It's just helpful to walk
Yep.
through that.
sorry.
Okay. Any further deliberation on the agenda? Hearing none. Ken?
Yes.
Kathleen?
Yes.
Nathan?
Aye.
Julie?
Yes.
And the chair votes aye. Our first matter of business is the continued public hearing for Orion Park Drive. We have a representative from Orion Park.
Looks like the applicant is not here yet.
There's
We-
a huge freight train
Yeah, there
that's
is.
like blocking a lot of intersections right now. So.
Okay. So there's a choice. We can table this and take it up when the applicant gets here, do a 5-minute recess and take it, and then just wait until then, or we can kind of go to the master plan discussion and then come back to Orion Park Drive, or
Yeah,
we can
let's
move
do-
to 14 Washington Street. There's
Well, you know what? We have people from 14 Washington, so let's do 14 Washington. What's that?
That'll bump the other guy up when he shows up in 5 minutes.
Well, if
well,
he shows up.
if he shows up,
if
in
he
5
shows
minutes.
up
I
in
don't
5
know where
minutes.
he is.
But he will be addressed this evening. He just
Yeah.
won't be first.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're going to turn to the 14 Washington Street. So we have to open. Yeah. So
Yes.
I need a motion to open the public hearing for 14 Washington Street. I'll make a motion to open the public hearing for 14 Washington Street, map 26, parcel 184.
Seconded.
Any further discussion?
Wait a minute. We're open to hearing for site plan review and inclusionary bylaw, right?
It's a major modification of the site plan approval
Right.
and inclusionary hospitality.
Right. I just wanted to clarify
Okay,
what
thank you.
Yes.
subject matter was. Thank you.
Yes.
Ken, how do you vote?
Aye.
Kathleen?
Yes.
Nathan?
Aye.
Julie?
Yes.
Chair votes aye. Public hearing is now open for 14 Washington. Hi, if you don't mind, hello, Lim Hut and,
Here comes Joe.
well, that's but his other guy's in here. That's all right.
Good evening. Good evening, everybody.
Hi, great. So before you guys even introduce yourself, I just want to turn to the town planner to tell us, just give us just the highest level overview of what this is and what we can accomplish this evening.
All right. So before you is a application for a modification of a site plan approval. In 2022 or 2023, the planning board issued an approval for 14 Washington Street, which originally showed 5 residential units with 1 commercial space.
Mm-hmm.
At that point, no work had been done to kind of move forward with the site plan approval. This summer, the applicant had requested interpretation on the multifamilies, if multifamily is allowed in the form-based code, just multifamily. Town council opined that just multifamily is allowed within this form-based code, which is something they opined on, and that zoning determination was given to the applicant. The applicant then came back in with a modification to revise their plans from 5 units with 1 commercial to 8 residential units, so all residential. So as part of this, it's a modification of the approval, not a full new site plan review. So what is, as part of this application, it's kind of a the interior is basically what's changing on this, and then 1 portion above the right hand side of the building. There's going to be a 2nd floor added above it. So most of the changes that are occurring are interior to the building.
What the 2 wings?
So the wing on the left hand side was taken down as part of the historical commission's agreement that left wing was going to be removed. That has been done. If you when you drive by the site, you can see that the left side has been taken down.
Right.
Now there's going to be a new wing added on the left hand side, and then above on the right hand side, there's already an existing wing there.
Oh, I see what
There's
you're
going to be a
saying.
2nd floor added on above that.
Great.
And so there's not going to be a commercial portion to this project anymore. And this project also takes into account the new change in the parking. The applicant had received a waiver from the planning board at that time regarding the parking. They no longer need that waiver, so it's no longer applicable here.
They just need 4 spots, right?
So they would just need 4 spots required on site because it's 8 units. So, but they have, I believe, 6 units here, 6 spaces.
5 it says here.
5 what?
I'm just reading the document, that's all.
Okay. Yes. Oh, so that document there on that that was one of the comments that actually I made. Their application came in. The description was under the MOD when the actual application is under the form-based code. It's not the MOD. And that was clarified with with GPR. That was one of the comments, and that was discussed early on in the process. And then, so at that point, I'll turn this over to.
So what we're going to do tonight is we're going to get the narrative, go through this, take initial questions, but I don't think we don't have any responses from departments to go through any of that.
Well,
yet.
so the department head comments were sent over to the applicant. They received them, but they have not had. They got them on Friday, so they haven't had a chance to review and respond to those as well.
And if I may, for the record, Lim Hotif, I'm an engineer at GPR. Really went through the initial comments. They're very minimal from our perspective. I would love to have a chance to kind of go through the ones that I think is worth talking about.
Beautiful.
Like I said, there's probably only 2 or 3 really that's worth talking about.
And if the gentleman next to you would introduce himself.
My name is Mark Gallagher from Seal Harbor.
Seal Harbor. Thank you,
Seal
Mark
Harbor
Allen.
owns the building.
Okay, welcome, Mark.
Well, thank you.
Take it away, Limhut.
So, if you don't mind, we prepared a response letter, but as Danny mentioned, we never submitted it because quite short notice. But I want to have a chance to talk about it.
Could you talk about the plan first before we get to the responses?
Yeah, not a problem.
Because we want to, in particular, emphasize, what I would say for emphasis is what's different from the approved plan, what's different. That would be where I would concentrate, but give us the story.
No problem. Well, to be honest with you, the story is that it hasn't changed too much from the approved plan. Like Danny said, a lot of it is very much interior work. We submitted a new floor plan that shows the 8 residential unit. There's some changes to the wings, obviously, and number of parking spaces, but more or less, we have parking on the right-hand side of the sheet, and we're still providing stormwater chambers for the roof runoff as much as we can. It's located, before it was located in the grass lawn area, and now it's located under one of the driveway space. And quite frankly, that's the bulk of the change, not a whole lot on site plan wise.
Okay.
So a few things,
Yes, please.
things you should know that have changed beyond
Yes, please, yes.
the engineering. As he indicated, or as they spoke about initially, the commercial space has been removed from from it altogether. The building was originally, for those that were not part of the original approval, when we acquired the building, there was, I believe, 6 units that were supposed to be constructed inside the building. When Calvin previously owned it, they were all going to be affordable units. And he had some money from the state and federal money, which had all expired when we purchased it. We were not able to keep those permits, and the prior building inspector at the time ruled that the permits were not legal because you were not allowed to have, at that point in time, you're not allowed to have residential units on the first floor, which is why we went with commercial space on the first floor, and tried, obviously to acquire some type of a use, but we're one step back from Main Street.
One moment. Hey, gentlemen, I'm going to ask if you have a conversation to take it outside because the noise really, thank you. Go ahead, Mark.
No issues. So when the ordinance changed and allowed us obviously to move forward with a different plan, more in keeping with what we originally wanted to do, the two units on the left-hand side, on that where we removed the wing, they were a part of the original approval.
Right.
And then the interior of the building, we expanded the use on the first floor, but it's a very deep building. There's not a lot of windows, and people don't rent. It's not really allowed to have units that don't have windows, for egress purposes, etc. And the wing on the right-hand side was not part of the original construction of the building. The wing on the right-hand side is essentially a butler building. It's a steel building with a metal roof. It's got large purlins in it. We were originally going to use that and then put the affordable unit, that was what was requested for handicap accessibility, in our first approval on the right-hand side on the first floor. And then when we were able to look at this and had more time to look at it, we did expand the use by taking that wing off, not the concrete part of it, not the brick part of it, but to remove the roof part of it and the part that was a butler building, and go to a more traditional framing and make it a little prouder, right? So that it was. When you go by the building today, I don't know how closely everybody has looked at it, but about 3 months ago, well, maybe no, 5 months ago now, and we talked about this last week when I was with Danny. Somebody had the audacity to terminate the power to our building.
Whoa.
No, it goes further. And my guys, we store stuff in there. We rent a portion of the building to GPR for their storage of their stuff. And so it came about in late July, that my guys said, geez, the overhead doors don't work anymore. They're electric. And I said, well, call GPR, because Bruce always repairs the doors. They're very, very old, and he has a knack of being able to repair them and find the parts online, and he's a magician with that. And it came back that they couldn't get the doors to open anymore. And I thought nothing of it, quite honestly. We're in and out of the building all the time. So beginning of August comes and September, and then I was asked for the Oktoberfest, as I am every year, can they put the dumpsters there? But there was a mix-up on one of the local landscaping companies didn't get a spot for Oktoberfest. They called me and said, can we use your, the fire station if we clean it up? We'd like to really, make it nice. I said, yeah, knock yourself out. So again, thought nothing of it. We had a meeting there about 3 weeks ago with our architect and our structural engineer, knowing that we were going to be coming in front of you, because we'd really like to, this spring get this thing rolling now. And I was walking up to the building and I looked to the ground and there was slate roof on the ground. And I was like, it had been a windstorm. We had the big, the snowstorm. And I was like, must have been really windy here. My daughter lives right up the street. And I thought, she's always telling me it's windy in there. I don't pay attention. And I went inside the building and the architect was literally in tears. She really has put her heart and soul into this building. And I'm like, what's wrong? And she said, somebody vandalized the building. I said, really? And we went through the whole building. They came through, and from what we've been told now by folks at GPR, is that a white van full of some fellows came sometime the first week of August and descended on the building and worked there for 3 weeks, and everybody thought they were our guys. And they went in and they essentially tore all of the copper wiring out of the inside of the building, 100%. And they beat the living daylights out of the inside of the building, which honestly, we're going to gut the building, so no harm, no foul, But by all description, they went up on the roof. And we had all copper flashing on the parapet walls.
I remember that.
And we had on the dome of the roof, we had a copper dome up there, and copper all the way around. And they spent 4 days removing the copper from the dome. And they swept up after themselves every day because people went over and spoke to them, and they just acted like they owned the building. So then obviously for 4 months, it's been raining inside the building. And when I went in and saw my machine there, I have a hydroseeder there, I thought the hydroseeder was leaking because there was so much water in the building. But we called the police that day, and Danny and I talked about it, I think about a week and a half ago. The police are investigating it. But they probably got away with $200,000 worth of copper inside the building, from what everybody says. Over 2 tons of copper was removed from the building. So there's more damage to the building than there ever has been. We made sure the roof was solid. When we bought it from Calvin, it was in a lot of disrepair. And the animals were living inside the building, and we got somebody to come in and remove the animals and, do all the repairs to it. But that cupola is not going to be able to be salvaged. We're going to have to replace the cupola.
That's bad news.
Yeah, it's very bad news.
And one thing on the cupola, so I don't know how that affects your agreement with the Historical Commission.
I have no agreement with the Historical Commission. Anything, I'm going to have to get in front of them to have conversation.
There definitely is a historical.
Calvin had an agreement with them.
It goes with the
It could
property.
have been. It could have been.
Yeah, it goes with the property.
So we need to go back to them because the copper's all gone. The copper on the entire building is gone.
So, with the Historical Commission being involved, how does it affect our process?
So for right now, as of this meeting, it's not going to happen. It's not going to affect the board in kind of what we're doing. In terms of the commission and the agreement that's in place with the property, that's going to have to be dealt with. I don't know what the effects of that are. I was reviewing the Historical Commission's agreement with the property right now, and as part of it, they're supposed to retain the all of the historical portions of the building, which includes the cupola. I don't know. As of right now, it doesn't affect what we're doing, but there is an effect, and that needs to be figured out. I've already started that process, so we'll go from there.
I was asked about this at the most recent CPC meeting. So there, because it was historical through CPC that the funds.
The
were-
funds, yes.
So they're aware that we're having this conversation. I don't think no one mentioned anything like this, Mark. So we didn't.
Well, no, and you wouldn't have known because we didn't know until 10 days ago. And the police are doing their best to figure out who the white van is and who the people were that vandalized the building, and did so well of masquerading themselves because nobody asked. They did steal some tools from the, trucks that were inside there, but again, they went so far as not only they terminate the power to the building, they had the power company come and remove the service overhead, and then they removed the service from the building. So you have the meter on the outside of the building, it's gone. There's nothing there.
There are things here beyond us. Okay,
Yeah,
thank
it's
you.
very,
Yeah,
it is.
It is going to be a process, but nothing that ties to.
No, it doesn't have anything to do with site plan, but I wanted you to know only because you asked what's the difference
Yes.
over the years that we've, been here. So our plan is to do the eight units. I have to get in touch with the Historic Commission. I don't believe there's any funding remaining because they called me probably 2 years ago and said they were going to return the balance that Calvin had not used to the general fund. And when we were all set to go, they would see if they could raise funds, to help with the improvements to the building, but they made no guarantees of that. We're not counting on that.
Yeah.
This is a different project than it was in 2022 or 2023. Now that we have all residential and we don't have that unknown component and interest rates have started to come down, it makes it a much more affordable project from a development standpoint, to be able to convert this to something that's usable, get the affordable unit in play. And then, as I said, we're not really counting on, the funds, and we're not going for federal funds on it. It's on your historic register. It's not on the National Historic Register, although it should be, because it was the prototype, back in the 50s for what was fire stations. I think it was one of the first. So it would be, and we're trying to retain as much of the character as we possibly can, both inside and outside. And that's, less of a struggle now because we're able to, as you can see from the rendering, that right-hand side now really, makes the building a lot more prominent and a little bit handsome compared to that Butler building that's hanging off the right-hand side now. So,
Thank you.
just so you know, I didn't want to, breeze through here and not let you find out at a later time. I
Yeah.
didn't think that's a really, fair when you ask the question. Although it's not a good thing, and we're not happy about it at all. I think everybody should know where it's at.
Well, I've learned something. When I walk by, see something, look more closely.
The fact that they were able to get the power company to remove the
Unbelievable.
service from the building
Unbelievable.
without any kind of notification or verification is just mind-boggling to us.
So would the next step be to go let Lim Hut go through the?
Yeah.
Do you want to do
Yeah.
that, Lim Hut?
Yeah, it'll be fine.
We'll just go through it briefly. So the first comment is from the Board of Health, actually. I believe she's asking about the 21E. Is that how we're talking
Yep.
about?
Yeah, can we put it up on the screen so Lim Hut, we know what we're talking about?
We don't have the printout yet.
Alright. So first one is
So
We can go by order if that
yeah,
makes sense.
if you wanna
Yeah,
just so this is the
Conservation.
Conservation Commission. Obviously there's no jurisdiction. So it says as other projects, the Conservation Agent strongly encourages the applicant and board to recommend landscaping to help reduce heat islands effects and use energy efficient heating and cooling systems like pumps and rooftop solar as part of the project, as well as other sustainable development and low impact development practices that may fit on the site. So specifically, this is out of our the jurisdiction. It's just something that they're asking for. But in terms of the rooftop solar, obviously that is not that doesn't.
You have east-west roofs, right? I mean, that's no good.
And because of the agreement, well, the agreement also wouldn't allow for it either. Landscaping is actually not allowed. There's certain landscaping that's allowed as part of the agreement. Some of it's not allowed. The agreement says that you cannot use landscaping to block the front of the building from the historical portions of it. There's the energy efficient in the heating and cooling systems. That one I don't really know.
Okay.
Yeah.
It'd be in our best interest
Yeah.
to use heat pumps. So, I mean, that's, goes without
You have
really,
an old snowman in there?
I wish.
All right, so town planner comments, these are mine. So the application narrative should be amended for the application is not under the MOD. The application is still under the form-based code, and the change in the parking requirements is under form-based code, not the MBTA overlay district. So
Yep.
that was,
Yep.
the narrative and the application will be updated. Well, it's more just the narrative. It's not the application. The multifamily use is allowed by right within the downtown form-based code. There is a concern when vehicles are backing out of the parking spaces onto Washington Street. Will vehicles backing out of the southernmost parking spaces be able to see traffic coming from Washington Street? So that's this. So that's this parking space right here. So if you're backing out, being able to see up this road with all these cars, like what the effect of that would be.
Yeah, I mean, there's no landscaping like you said in that area, so you can see quite well. We
Okay.
pull our trucks out of there all the time.
Okay.
It's not a big deal.
Okay.
Actually, a question on that. I thought there was a prior project where we had to have the like parallel to the road. Why does that not apply here?
This is it was previously approved that way. They're not amending these parking
Okay,
spaces.
so that at the time that wasn't required.
Yeah, I don't know. They're not amending that. That's just something that's already been that way. And I believe that was more of a concern that was brought up of the exact reason what I'm saying right now is
Yeah.
the
it was
concern
just,
of
like,
backing out
interest.
into Washington Street with people coming out that way.
Yeah, because I think on projects we have, at least recent ones, we've requested that they be parallel.
Go back to the,
The other one was the proposed landscape lawn cover show off property. Do you have permission from the abutting property owner? That's this area. But
Yeah, that was the agreement with, I believe, Calvin at the time when it was approved.
okay.
So,
I just
We asked that slope be fixed up the first time around. off the
Okay.
property.
Correct.
okay. And then how will the project be phased? Will the work on the inside of the building be done first, or the site work around the front?
The building will be gutted. First we have to, then we got it. You gotta get everything. You can't do the site work outside, really, on this tight of a property until the inside is pretty far along.
Okay.
We got a lot of work to do on the floors, and it's just kind of a mess. So
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Yeah.
That's why I was
the
just.
site work is on this one will be the last, except for like the sewer and the water that we've already scoped over the last couple of years.
Yep.
And had conversations with the water district and the sewer as to what exactly they want. So there's going to be a period of demolition, a period of construction, and then a period of doing the site work to get the finish done.
and I guess, Danny, for clarification, because typically our site plan approval comes with like a pre-construction meeting. What are you looking for in terms of like a pre-construction meeting for this? Is it when he starts the actual site work? Can he work on the building prior to that, or
It's a good one.
whatever you want to do? Just let us know.
I would say before we start the inside of the building. I mean,
Okay.
I know we've already kind of had one,
We did.
but I
I was
would
going to say
like.
something, but you weren't invited.
Yeah,
That's fine.
I would like another one, just kind of
Yeah, no issues.
Yeah.
because we'll like construction schedules and kind of stuff, like we typically do at ours.
Yeah.
Just so that, because I know Mike will be more prevalent in the beginning.
Yeah.
So I want to make sure that Mike is on board with whatever.
Yeah, he wasn't
needs
there the other
before
day.
we go, and then the later stuff you and I will deal with. But
Yeah.
we'll want a pre-construction meeting with all with the departments
No
before
problem.
they really start.
No, we're next door.
Yeah.
Whatever.
All right. So this was the Board of Health question. Has the 21E been done for the property? Has the soils around the facility been tested for PFAS?
Our understanding is that during the period of time that Calvin, before the town sold Calvin the property, they addressed all of the asbestos, they had addressed all of the concerns related to a 21E, et cetera, before it was transferred from the town to Calvin. And that's, our understanding when we bought it from Calvin was it was all, the asbestos was removed, it's got a clean bill of health, everything was done accordingly, it was all inspected, and the town was provided all the documents.
I had this conversation with the Board of Health agent on this, and I also had stated at that time, before we sold it, the bank would have required.
they did
all
everything.
that. So she just wanted to make sure it was done, but
Yeah.
that was only based off of my experience and with them clarifying that it addresses it.
And as far
There's
as
got to be a document here in town hall. That
The asbestos,
I'm sure there was.
I believe was part of the funds
it's
that
not
they were
part of-
given by the historic commission, but I may be wrong. I know that all of that was done, the asbestos part of it was done during Calvin's ownership, the parapet walls were rebuilt, but prior to that, the 21E was done during the town's, because they couldn't convey the property without it.
Correct.
As far as the soil is concerned, we didn't do any soil testing, obviously. Like I said, chambers were pretty much what was approved before. We're just trying to recharge as much as we can for a redevelopment project. So
you had, excuse me just a second, you had the subsurface chambers originally on the
Yes.
plan?
yes,
Correct.
they moved slightly because I think the reviewing engineer at the time just wanted them outside of the lawn area and underneath the parking. So we said there, that's fine.
So from the DPW's perspective, existing flush granite curbing does not need to be reset at the driveway aprons. The curbing can instead be removed and delivered to the DPW yard.
We're all okay with those.
Sidewalk and the driveway aprons should be installed per the town standard for a concrete sidewalk through the driveway with curb returns. The plans should be updated accordingly. It appears the roof drainage only enters the smaller storm tech chamber. It is recommended that the equalization line be provided to connect the chambers.
These chambers are open bottom, so they fill up from the bottom up. So it doesn't make sense to kind of put in
Gotcha.
There's no equalization necessary.
Details call for a 4-inch HDPE roof drains, while the plan call for 6-inch. Plan should be revised accordingly. I know this had come up during our conversation initially as well. A cast iron cover should be provided over the sewer cleanout if one is not already present.
It's a pretty small amount of comments.
Correct.
Yeah, that's,
Yeah. I mean, so remember, this is just a modification.
Oh, I understand.
So a lot of these stuff have kind of been ironed out well before this.
yeah, that's why I want to have a conversation about it, because the way I'm looking at this is very much, we would love to provide you guys with a response letter, like this week with a revised plan, and
Perfect.
hopefully close for the next meeting. That's really the goal
Is
here.
that doable, Danny?
Yeah, I mean, so if I can get the okay from all the other departments saying that you've addressed all the comments,
Yep.
for me, I mean, getting a decision put together is no big deal.
Okay.
The only thing that kind of lingers out there is the historical commission part on that, which I can work on while we're going.
Yep.
But I can start working on. I can get a decision up and running for this
Awesome.
for the next decision.
Can you, Danny, can you send me the contact?
Yes, actually, I believe.
Because I don't know if it's changed since 3 years ago.
Barry, right?
I'm sorry?
Yeah, he's.
I can
we
talk
got
to
it.
Barry after the meeting.
If you can just give me the contact and phone number or email address, and I'll engage them and
Yep.
try to get in to see them as quickly as we can.
Okay.
And just an FYI, I do owe a presentation to the Affordable Housing
Affordable
Community.
housing.
I totally forgot about that following our meeting. Kind of been out of the office. doing
That
other
I mean,
things.
that's not as tied into
Yeah.
the inclusionary housing bylaw is an automatic trigger
Yep.
on this one, so we know one unit is. That was more of just an ask from me for for that committee to be able to see what you're proposing.
Yep.
There's no requirement on that one. It's just more of a kind of.
No,
an
we
ask
should
from
we should
my part.
engage them anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. I told you I would, so.
Yeah. But yes, so I think you have the contact from Alicia as well to figure out where the timing on that as well. But we wouldn't hold up this decision with that.
Perfect. Okay.
There would be, obviously conditions that we typically put in for inclusionary housing, just kind of put in.
And again, I believe I asked you this during the preliminary meeting, but obviously that draft decision for the affordability language will be, I guess, sent to Mark for review first.
Yeah. Yep. We have the kind of like boilerplate language that we use right now that we've been using in all of ours that I can send over to you and you can look at it.
They want us to deed them the unit, or do they want to, or are they going to have a monitoring agent to rent the unit?
I'll.
He has to go, you have to go.
We'll go. I'm just
Yeah,
curious how they do
Alicia
it.
would be able to
Okay.
answer that question better than I would.
Okay, that's no problem.
The best bet is to go through the bylaw, the inclusionary housing bylaw or the zoning bylaw.
Well,
It's
no.
been up- And be careful.
I'm talking about managing it, that's all.
It's the management
But
portion of it.
the options are typically in there.
No, it's going to be rental. It's a rental. I think the whole building is rental. So it's just more of the monitoring and who's going to handle that.
Right.
That's a question Alicia answers.
They must have a monitoring agent that they approve.
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah, we've done
I
it
just-
before, so.
Yeah. I was
I was just curious, that's all.
All right.
Okay, so anything else? So I open up to board members for their questions or comments.
So Mark,
Nathan goes first. I'm sorry, Nathan raised his hand first.
Well, first, I'll just make some general comments. It's good to see this progress being made on this building. So I appreciate the application and the modification. And also, just personally, I appreciate the multi-bedroom, if not all, are all units 2-bedroom? Or
No, there's a couple that are 1-bedroom.
Okay.
The vast majority are 2 bedrooms.
So that's, I think that's a benefit to the town. I think previously this was all 1-bedroom.
Correct, that's all we were allowed. The parking Henderson, if you're.
Right. Yes. So I think net benefit, in my opinion. First question I have is on the scope of the modification. There were a handful of special conditions in the initial approval. Let me back up. What is the initial approval time frame? When would it expire? And what is the effect of a modification on that time frame?
So this application was extended by the governor's extension act. So it's extended an additional 2 years. So the time frame on that, it would have been April of this year, I believe.
April 26th, it would have expired.
Yeah, I think it was April of this year. But it has been extended by the act.
Beyond April 26th.
Yes.
Okay.
So with this modification, it would be from the point that this new modification goes in. From that date, it would start from that date.
But everything that was approved that isn't modified, will that still be in force?
Yeah, so the way it would work is the original decision, whatever special conditions that are in there that still apply will get carried over into the new decision. Where they apply. So when I looked at the original decision, a lot of the special conditions are a lot of our general conditions now.
Okay.
So some of them are different, but
Yeah. I just don't want to rehash
no.
special conditions we went through, and just know that they're going to carry forward.
Yeah, so just on that one, the special conditions that are set in this in this decision are what we call our general conditions now.
There were some.
There's like a couple of them
Yeah.
that wouldn't apply under our general conditions. We would just carry those right over.
Okay. Let's see. I guess to what extent? Well, we can get into what our role is in covering the, basically, we generally don't get involved in what's inside the building, and I'm curious also what we would have any say over for the right side is increasing in height. Don't know if there's anything for us to comment on that.
in terms of whether or not the board likes that.
Oh, just, I mean, I don't think there's any like bylaw that governs what we do or do not do as far as.
No. I mean, you guys can discuss it. There's nothing that says the board can't discuss that.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Nathan. Ken?
I'm agreeing with Nathan, and thanks, Mark, for coming in and making these changes. I think all of us are anxious to get this job done, so anything we can do would be a big deal. But to make 8 units out of what was 5 units is a big improvement for downtown. I mean, there really isn't much to look at here. I usually have a lot of questions, but not this time, obviously, not this time.
I'm sure we'll get us on the
I
next
think
one.
it's cute the way you've got some, treatment of the stamped concrete in front. I think some nice touches that you put in there, which is a big deal. You can do you're doing what you can with like plantings, a minimum amount of plantings, a couple of things here and there. Do we have any place that shows us we do control exterior lighting? Do we have some lighting on the building that complies with the dark sky requirements? Anything like that? In other words, we can't put a light on the building that shines up the wrong way.
No, we meet
We
all.
don't, we do control the lighting.
So we have carriage, we have carriage lights that are historic,
That's gonna be a question, yeah?
You could
that are on the building.
They're supposed
There's
to
3 of them.
remain. They're supposed to remain
Okay.
Yeah.
as part of the agreement.
We were
But
able-
near entrances and things like that, you're typically gonna have
We
some
have to
area
buy,
lighting.
you have to buy code. Every entrance in and out of a building.
But what I'm saying is that lighting, be careful, it has to comply with us.
Yeah, yeah.
Dark sky compliance.
Right.
Yeah.
Because we've had almost.
I
every-
mean that's a easily enforceable. Like if they were to install that, building commissioner would
So
be
I
like,
think you should,
go out there and
you
say,
should
"All right,
submit the
gotta
lighting,
cover it."
submit the lighting as though it's part of the lighting requirement.
Would it be
There's
agreeable
not
to
gonna
just?
be any site lighting, but there's gonna be building
You
lighting.
can.
Submit a fixture, I think.
Yeah, it has to be hooded.
Okay. Well, what I was going to ask is that not remembering what was approved under the original permit,
There wasn't.
that wasn't a portion of
That
it.
wasn't in there.
Would
I
you
know,
be
but
agreeable to have it as a
maybe
condition?
we
No,
can-
you can do it now.
It's actually-
It's a standard practice anyway.
Right. Okay.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not almost every zoning ordinance
Yeah.
requires.
We can condition it that it, the building commissioner just determines that it does.
yeah, we
meet-
have,
That it meets
we
it.
have the requirement
Yeah.
written up. that applies.
Yeah.
That's all I had.
Yep.
Thank you.
Anyone else on the board?
I'll do one more, Mr. Chair.
One more, go for it, Nathan.
Can you confirm that the footprint, what was approved, is the footprint changing at all? Is it, particularly is the footprint increasing?
We didn't increase the footprint
Okay.
at all.
From the approved a few years ago?
No.
Thank you.
I'd like to open up to public discussion from the room first. Yes, sir, if you would come up, could we pull a chair up for right there, there's a
It's
chair.
right next to me, if he's good.
Okay,
If you give your name and address first, sir.
Charles Hanson, 18 Washington Street.
Welcome,
Obviously-
Charles.
Thank you. Obviously, I'm right next to the
Right
property.
here.
And it looks like there's going to be, it's not going to decrease in size, right? You said?
It's not gonna increase in size.
Right, I know. It means it's going to be a big wall against my property that's 2 stories tall. So I guess does it come down to that it sucks for me for living there? Because nobody else, I think anybody would want their property with another 2-story wall next to them.
The way you phrase that is not how I would phrase it.
Okay.
I understand where you're coming from. The zoning allows.
I know. I
Yeah,
came,
yes.
the last time I came
Yeah.
here, I was surprised that the commercial zone went right up to my property.
Yeah, the form-based code allows for that, and
Yeah.
so there's it's not a I don't know how to put it. It's not that how you stated it, but that is allowed.
So are there windows on that side?
Yeah, there are windows on that
Right.
side.
I believe so.
The
Yes,
second
there's buildings.
floor isn't all the way out. It doesn't take up the entire area on the second floor,
Roof deck.
roof deck, so it's set back. But on the first floor, there are windows, because there's egress requirements in the bedrooms, and there are bedrooms in the along there.
So what I can say is the board could discuss maybe some sort of a visual buffer, at least along the property line, maybe plantings, a fence.
Well, I don't think
I
that's
think there
fair.
is a fence there currently.
He has
No, no.
plantings on his side.
I have
believe.
lots of plantings.
Yeah, I would not disturb his
Right.
plantings. I
Okay.
think his plantings
But you're taking down that wall, right?
I am going to lower the wall. It's a concrete. I think it's about 6 feet tall. Yeah.
Right,
So we're going to cut it down and we're going to put a framed wall in its place.
right. Right.
They're trying to make it look a little bit better than it does today.
Well, it looks terrible.
I agree with you. I agree with your suck comment too.
Yeah, so there is existing plantings.
Oh, yeah, I have.
Yeah, he has significant plantings.
Yeah.
And when you talk about
This guy
backing
just said
out,
people stealing the car, but
yes,
the neighbor-
there are, my trees are right there. They will not be able to see that easily down, going down, the cars coming down, because I had trouble myself.
You know, you have we have a fence there. I don't, you know.
There's a chain link fence right
Would
there.
you feel more comfortable if we put up a stockade fence down that side for you? I mean, we obviously have to work together because
Right,
there's not a
exactly.
lot of room there.
Right, that's what I know, because even if you want to do something on the outside,
Yeah.
it might not end up on my property.
To clad it, yeah.
Right, so we have to,
But I mean, once we do that side, I would not be adverse to putting up some kind of a tasteful stockade fence down that side if you'd like.
yeah,
give
we
you
can-
some
we can
additional
think about it.
screening.
We can talk about it. I mean, the big thing is just that now I've got 2 stories
Yeah.
next to my
Yep.
house.
Yep.
And there's no buffer.
Your driveway's there, right?
Right, my driveway's there.
I saw you shoveling the other day.
Yeah, that's what I do.
I guess that is a question for the board. If they were to choose take down some of the planting, put up a new fence.
Well, I'm not taking down the plant.
You don't have to take the plantings down. They're not that.
It's just
they're not
it's
intertwined
It's
into
an
the-
old. It's an
the
old
fence is
chain.
very
Yeah,
old.
the fence. Yeah, the fence is on.
So
Yeah.
is this a special condition thing or an informal agreement between these 2 parties thing?
I think it should be on the site
We
plan.
can't require it.
Well,
No, you don't have to require, but I think it should be on the site plan.
if they agree to it, then we can make it a special condition.
So to clarify, I'm asking a very hypothetical question. It was more if they do decide to do it, we would probably notify Danny, see whether or not that can be done as a field change or administrative change. It doesn't have to come back with the report, but it would be nice to have that option.
We could write in a condition that says that the applicant's going to work with the neighbor on figuring out what, the buffer for that.
Yeah.
Is that fair?
Yeah.
I would want the chain link fence gone if I was you.
Well, that's not the.
Somebody remove the chain link fence in the
The
back.
2 stories. That's right next.
Yeah, I get the 2 stories. Yeah.
Try to do what we can. That's all.
If you want to buy my property, that's okay. That's another thing.
We can add 8 more units.
Yeah, you could add more units and parking.
Do you have any more questions or comments?
No, that's it. Thank you.
All right, well, thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else inside yet? So
Okay, that
Julie
sounds good.
first,
Yep.
Thank you.
Ms. Bang, and then
Thank you. Julianne Govang, 34 Groton Harvard Road. Also thinking of the neighbors. During the construction process, I don't know how long this one will take, but will there be a plan ahead of time with the DPW and the developers to have appropriate parking for vehicles and construction equipment during that time? Because any blocking of Washington Street would be extremely intrusive, especially for school buses, major traffic, commuter time, all of that. So in advance, will you know what the parking situation is going to be for vehicles, developers' vehicles, trucks, all those things?
That's a good question.
You know, we could put it in. the
Yeah,
decision.
so, I don't want to speak for the Moore family, but I mean, we do a lot of work with the Moores.
So
Calvin,
you park down by the hardware store?
we could do that, yeah, Subway. I'm not sure it's any better down there.
No,
I know. They own the building that's in front of us and all that parking.
right.
And I don't believe, during the time that we're going to be working, from 7 to 3 or 7 to 4 in the afternoon, and they also own the parking across the street. I'm sure I can talk to CJ and try to work something out that's beneficial. I would agree. You know, we're not gonna have a lot of heavy equipment here. There's
Right.
no space.
But even if you have multiple vehicles for
The
electrical
vehicles,
flooring, all
yeah,
of those
no,
coming
framing,
in
yeah,
different
no, I
times.
agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
It's a very tight site. It's gonna need to be managed correctly. But I would agree that we'll work something out with CJ to make sure that we don't interfere. We don't wanna have the police there, and we obviously don't wanna be a problem.
Cool,
Yeah.
thank you,
But it's a good question.
thank you.
Thank you.
The gentleman in the blue vest?
Thank you.
If you give us your name and address, sir.
Edward Denny, and we own 11 Pleasant Street, which is directly behind the fire station. Nice to meet you. And our questions on the back side of the building.
Could you sit up closer to the table so the mic can pick you up? Thanks.
Come a little closer, but we'll leave it.
I was curious as to what your plan was for the backside of the building, and in particular, it looks like there's a doorway on the first floor, which is I'm guessing a means of egress. It is, and so that will give you when you that will be. I don't think it'll be one that'll be used by the tenants a whole lot.
Not exactly.
Yeah, and so when you come out of there, what are you planning on doing? Anything on the backside?
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Did you remove the fence?
What fence?
So you're directly behind us.
Yeah.
In
Yeah, I'm right along here.
Right. So you're here
Yep.
in the large tenement building?
Yep.
The older one?
Yep.
That's got boards in the window and stuff?
Yep.
That's the one? Okay. All right. So no, somebody removed the fence over the last 2 years since we've been here, or 3 years. There was a chain link fence that ran across the whole back of the property, and it's been removed. So to answer your question, we have about 4 or 5 feet behind the building, where the fence originally was. And when we were talking earlier about drainage, the engineer that did the original design that was has since deceased, that was at their firm, we were actually going to put all the drainage behind the building along that area, which this is a much better design with it where it is today. But there was a fence there, and the purpose of that is simply egress. It's an emergency egress out of the back of the building. So they would, I would assume if it was an emergency, they would come to the left and towards the parking lot that's adjacent to them. So I'm saying they're going to come down
Yep.
here.
I agree.
Yeah.
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 That makes total sense.
Yeah.
I was just, first of all, we did not move the fence.
Oh, no, I was just curious. Not that I had an issue.
Oh, I thought
It
you were
was an
talking
ugly
about the
fence. And
Oh, I think it
So,
was.
so what, is the initial question just to, excuse me, so is your initial question is what, that what they're gonna
where
do?
they're going
with
to go
that?
when they egress.
Okay,
So they come out of the emergency egress. I said they would come up behind the building and go to the left towards towards Main Street. That would
Okay.
make the most amount of sense because you'd want to get away from the building.
right.
Oh, any of the buildings there if you were going to be going.
Or you cut through our yard and go to Pleasant Street.
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah, there's a slider right here. That's the egress
It's not
they're
really.
talking about.
Okay.
For this,
So.
Yeah, no.
it's for this unit. That's your second means of egress. Is a slider door to leave that.
One of the reasons why I'm at,
It's only one means of egress.
one of the reasons why I'm asking is because if you look at the drawings, it looks like there's only 2 feet of setback to the property line. And I don't really have a problem with it. It's just that I would prefer not to have a fence back there.
I don't
Right,
need that.
and because I think it would be difficult for anybody trying to get out of that building to
Yep.
only have a 2 foot. So I mean, there is not really a way to if there is a fence there, which apparently there was. I don't even remember there being a fence there, and if it was, I'm sure it was ugly because it's been there for a long
It
time.
has been.
We're renovating. We're doing the same thing on the backside of this property. We're renovating what
Your building.
yeah, this 13 building is being, is got rehabbed. We're going through that process right now. And so it would be, if you were to put a fence there, I don't think you'd be able to get out of the back. It would sort of obstruct your means of egress. That's issue number one. And
again, as long as there's not gonna be a fence, I don't think it's a problem, so.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think they're proposing any fences back
Okay,
there.
so, and then the other problem is more of a historical problem that is really not related to the, construction, is if you look at the drawing C4,
On the C4 or A4?
See,
On the site plan? On the site plan?
It does say C. Yeah, it says C4.
Okay.
On the
I
site
think
plan.
it's the first or second page.
It's the
Yep,
site
okay.
plan with parking.
Yep, okay.
So, if you could push it up a little bit. Yeah. So, a very big problem for, if I could.
Yep.
So, this right here is actually a porch. And, as you can imagine, having this dumpster here has been just an unbelievable nightmare for. Now you have the convergence of three buildings where the dumpster is right at the convergence of three buildings. And now your tenant, whoever's gonna be in this building right here, their window is gonna be looking out at it.
That's not his property. That's not his property, that's the adjoining property.
Yeah, so this property, this is off property.
Right?
There's not,
But this is part of the building, right?
yes, but
Okay,
the
so there's
planning,
gonna be a window right here.
yep.
Exactly.
They're gonna move that
Right.
dumpster.
There's nothing we can really do about
Well,
that.
then one of my questions was, have you talked with anybody about that dumpster being there?
Just get it out of there.
Okay, because it's gonna be, in the summertime, it really
Yeah, smell
reeks.
it.
I mean, it's terrible. So, and I realize maybe there's nothing you can do about it, I'm just saying that's just,
Have you ever met CJ? More? More than
I have, a while ago, but not.
He's a very reasonable guy.
So.
Yeah.
Have you ever asked about moving that? No. Okay. I think that was really, the main, are you gonna need to access our property to do any of the work back here?
I don't think so, no.
Okay, well, if you do, just let us know.
We will.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
so.
Yeah.
Those are my questions. Patsy, you have any questions?
No, I love it.
Ron?
They're probably gonna have to access the back wall,
Yeah, I think you probably will, so, but in any
We'll be in
case, that's not a problem.
I'll get your number before you leave.
All right.
Okay, thank
so
you.
That was,
Anyone else in the room? Nope. Let's turn to the Zoom. Anyone on Zoom wish to make a comment? Is that our Rachel or a different Rachel?
That's
That's-
Rachel resident.
That's a
The
resident.
resident.
Rachel.
Oh, no,
Oh,
no,
it's not our,
Not Ray.
not Ray. no.
okay.
They talk about it.
Anyone on Zoom wish to comment or have questions? This looks like Pauline has her hand up.
I do, and
I see
Mr.
CJ.
Chair, I'll be very quick. I may have missed this. Has the developer complied with anything Mass Historic wanted? If I understood what you were discussing, I think that's still up in the air.
Yes, so there is a historical agreement that is recorded with the property. That is something that still needs to be addressed. As part of that agreement, I know there's certain things that need to be retained because of the historical value, like the front of the building, the garage doors, the cupolas. There's certain items that all need to be retained. But based on the conversation that we had earlier, there may be some question about the cupolas on whether or not they need to be fully replaced. So that'll be dealt with through the historical commission and the agreement. I don't know how that gets affected, but it shouldn't affect site plan.
Thank you, Danny. I was concerned because I saw nothing from the Historical Commission in the packet that was online, so that's why I asked. I do want to say to Seal Harbor, I think you're the fifth or sixth attempted developer of this site. I wish you well. I like that you want it to be all residential. I understand from what I'm listening tonight, it's one affordable unit out of 8. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Yes.
So I'm gonna plead with you, make it 2.
You can't do that.
Okay, just give it some thought, make it 2, all right? We need this in air more than you can know, and, well, maybe more than you do know. And then one last question for Danny. How, the planning board, your planning board response was, this does not comply with the MBTA overlay district.
No,
That's not what he said.
no,
No, so I can clarify that. The
Please.
application, so in their narrative, they stated that it's that the zoning change occurred under the MBTA overlay district. That
Right.
wasn't. Yeah, it was the zoning change. The only zoning change that occurred was the parking occurred in the form-based code, and
Right.
the opinion from town council was that multifamily alone is allowed within the form-based code. So I just wanted them to amend their narrative.
So, with all due respect, that was not clear in what I read today. So let me ask you this, and maybe you can amend your report. Will this
Planning board?
project comply with the MBTA overlay district bylaw that we approved?
It's not applying under that, so. It's
So it has nothing to do with it.
correct. That's why I was making that note.
That's unfortunate, because wouldn't it be nice if it did?
well, it's the same difference.
So
It's
just so
net,
you-
that's the same.
So just so you know, it basically will do very much the same thing.
In the
You know what?
Because of the SHI copy.
Yeah, because it does basically the exact same.
Right.
Same effect.
So it has the same effect.
I'll just leave that out there, because I don't have a whole lot of comfort in that. But thank you for answering my questions.
Nathan?
Does the 8 units on this lot size equal or greater to than 15 units per acre?
So the form-based code, it's
No, I'm just asking that as far as.
yeah, it would be
No.
the exact same thing because the
But that would-
form-based code calculation is the MBTA calculation.
Yeah, it is. It's pretty dense. I mean, this is about as dense as you can get.
Yeah, it's. I actually don't know what
Well,
the actual calculation.
One another quick comment, which is, I appreciate the self-government that's going on, the back and forth. It really, there's tools and jurisdictions the planning board has, but projects, I would just encourage this applicant and all applicants to communicate with your neighbors.
Thank you. All right.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
interject.
9,800.
8 times 8 is 40.
I don't know if our emails are connected.
Oh, yeah, go ahead,
Do you
Julie.
mind? I'm sorry.
No,
I
no,
don't
you
know-
have the floor.
I don't know if he has my email, but it is CPC that you would talk to first about the cupola, and that would be me.
Okay,
Um,
that's you.
Our next meeting is March 4th, so if you and I can be just
Yep.
emailing.
Yep.
I just don't know, Danny, if we had, sometimes,
I believe I have your email. I can.
Yeah, I can always get you in contact
Um,
with her too.
but I can get us started before that meeting and
Did I speak to you? Were you the contact person 3 years ago?
I was there. I usually try not to be the contact
Well,
person.
so there's two different.
You're the liaison, I get it.
There's the CPC, which is what she's has
Oh, okay.
the money.
Yeah.
That's where the money's coming
I got it.
from. And then the historical commission is
Got
the
it.
one who actually put together the agreement.
But I think
So-
I talked to the
You could've-
CPC 3 years ago.
Yeah.
I'm sure
Yes.
you did.
Because
Yeah,
they
you-
did call me about releasing the
Yes.
funds.
Yes, and
back
we
to
were
the
talking
general
about
fund.
you last month, but also I was in touch with Barry out back, so historical is aware, but he's saying come talk to CPC first, and you will get historical through there anyway because he's
Okay.
at that board meeting as well.
So the CPC is on March 4th,
March 4th. Yep.
and I can get on the agenda.
And Barry will be there too, and
And
historical
Barry
will
is
be.
part of historical.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, got it. I
that
just
should
gotta learn
cross
everything.
a lot of things
Okay.
all at once for
I will
you.
reach out to you after the meeting to kind of coordinate.
Sounds
that.
good.
Thank you.
Good. We all good?
Anyone else on?
Anyone else? I think we're good. I think we need a motion for continuance, right?
Yes. Yes. Motion to continue, and our next meeting is February 24th.
So I'd like to make a motion to continue the public hearing for 14 Washington Street, major modification of site plan approval, inclusionary housing bylaw for February
24th.
24th.
May I ask a question?
Yes, sir.
Okay. When is your meeting after February 24th? I have surgery on February 24th.
Oh, gosh.
No, it's
Our
once a month, so
next
it's not the end of the world, but
Well,
oh yeah, you're right. Well, no.
it's okay.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right.
He
March
says-
10th.
He
March
said,
10th.
he
March
said I don't have to be here.
Oh yeah, you don't.
I just,
I would just get you the decision.
no, when
ahead
I
of
do
time
the surgery, I can't talk for a day or two, so.
Yeah, I'll get
My
you.
wife's
the
very
decision.
happy, but not many other people.
I can get you the decision ahead of time so that you
no,
have all
it's
that.
February 24th, okay.
Yeah,
So we're good with
February
that?
24th.
We're good with that?
I'll get a second.
All right,
Second.
I need a second. Seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Ken?
yes.
Kathleen?
Yes.
Nathan?
Aye.
Julie?
Yes.
Chair votes aye. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you for your time this
Thank you.
evening.
Have a good night.
I'll get that with you.
Thanks.
Okay.
Thank you, Julie.
Next up is we have the continued public hearing for Orion Park Drive with the representatives. Hi.
Old friend, sorry.
Oh, I kind of guessed.
Good evening, board members. Thank you for seeing us tonight. Sean Malone is having a procedure tomorrow, so he's our engineer who's unable to make it, but I think we accomplished a lot in the last 24 hours with Danny, who's been very helpful. So,
I can.
So,
yeah.
so what I'm going to do, Joe, is going to ask Danny just to set up for us where we are and what we can get finished or accomplished.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. No.
Chairman, Joe Cataldo, my son Michael.
Hi, Michael. Hi, Joe.
So at the last meeting, we had continued so that the,
Gentlemen, can you take that outside, please? Thank you. Go ahead.
so at the last meeting we had continued so that the applicant could respond to comments and revised plans. The applicant did submit revised comments, revised plans along with responses to comments.
Great.
Those comments were addressed, and the DPW had a second follow-up letter, which was sent over to the applicant as well. Out of that, there were two comments that kind of were the two ticket items that were kind of still up in the air to figure out,
Okay.
which the board should have right in front of them after this document on the next page. Yep, right there. So,
Which page is that?
right after, keep going.
Oh,
Right after that's the DPW. There you go.
this one. It's Sean from Sean Malone.
Yeah, so I'm gonna pull up that that email right now. And so basically, there were two comments that were needed to be addressed. The applicant did address the first one. The second one was another one, which was regarding a
Utilities.
retaining wall. Regarding the retaining walls. Those were the last two that were kind of open. On the retaining wall, the issue was whether or not, I don't know why it's not opening. Let me try that again. Whether or not the retaining wall should be within the right-of-way. And the question was, could it be pushed off-site onto that lot 1? And the reasoning behind that was the applicant does not own lot 1, this one, which is up here, up on the
Excuse me, Danny, that's lot 2. Just
lot
for
2. Yep,
clarification.
sorry, lot 2. Right up here, there's a retaining wall that's proposed right here. This there was no the retaining wall couldn't be put on the property because the applicant does not own it, and that there was a proposed stormwater basin being looked at by the owners of those property in that area. So they reached out to me. I had spoken with Matt about this, and we had gone back and forth about whether or not the retaining wall should be on there, or kind of how would we be able to
Hey guys. Hey. Thank you.
basically how we would handle the retaining wall, because typically what would happen is if the town approved the road, we would take ownership of. Oh, we can't close doors. We can't close.
Oh, good.
Okay. Thank you.
And I told everyone they are welcome to open the door if they would like to come in, and I have been told that is okay.
Okay, as long as it's not
we
fully
are
shut. Yes,
inviting
yes.
And open to the public. We are open.
So the retaining wall the discussion was whether or not, the town would want to take ownership. The town would not want to take ownership of it. So we had discussed several options of, the owners of lot 5 and 4 retaining ownership and maintenance of it. That gets muddy, and so what it ended up happening was the applicants had proposed removing the retaining wall, having it graded all the way to the property line so that it would work, and that was also something Matt had brought up. So both parties kind of came together and approved, had come to that decision, and so now Matt is kind of has felt that all of their comments for the DPW have been addressed.
Okay,
So
okay.
I'm fascinated by that whole question of the retaining wall, but I'm not sure that people understand that the Taldo Corporation can easily build that out of large stones or something else that looks perfectly fine and get graded as a slope. Is that what we're talking about, basically?
Now there's no
Are they-
need for it.
Do they have to show us a detail for that work, or?
But it's already updated on the plans. I already have updated plans.
Thank you.
Yep.
And then what happened with the
I mean, it's
stormwater
kinda
basin? What
crazy.
happened with the stormwater basin you mentioned earlier?
So that's off. That's the off-site technically because they don't own that, so it has nothing to. It won't affect. We're all set.
Okay, we're all set.
So the plans have been changed?
Yep, plans have been updated. I received them earlier today.
Okay.
Matt reviewed them and he's all set.
So is that the set we have here?
No, that's actually a second set that came in after that.
Oh, cool.
So they're right here. I have them up on the website as well.
All right.
So as you can see here,
There's no longer a retaining wall.
it just says grass slope.
Nice.
Okay.
Right there. So at this point, they have addressed all of our comments.
That's wonderful.
The only other open item now is obviously they're still going through conservation. There's some questions regarding a waiver for the piping for the stormwater basin, but that's being dealt through conservation.
Okay, that's a conservation, okay.
Yeah, that's a conservation issue. So as of right now, the only waiver that the applicant is requesting is from a sidewalk here. And so, as part of our subdivision rules and regulations, we require a sidewalk on both sides of this, of the subdivision road. But because this is an industrial, that's why when we spoke about this, I had suggested requesting the waiver for the sidewalk because this is an industrial site. It's going to be it's not going to be people walking here.
I don't think
So, no.
People don't walk when they go to work.
No, they drive in, they park, and they go in the door.
Lunchtime and take a walk.
I mean, I can understand where you're coming from. People will walk around their building. People will walk in their parking lot. I mean, that's kind of what we do here at Town Hall. We don't walk, we walk.
I see people walking down these sidewalks. Anyway, okay, they're requesting a waiver.
They're requesting a waiver. And and in my opinion, based on the justification, because this is an industrial site, you're not really getting that foot traffic. You're not connecting to anything actually out on the street. I think it's a waiver that
There's no
in my
bus-
opinion, is
There's no
justified.
bus line running down Groton or Westford Road.
Westford Road, no. Everything in this area that's in front of here, you have Nemco Way, all the industrial site. You have the National Grid buildings all over there, and then as you go further down, there's that subdivision that's further up, but there's no connection point.
Okay. What about street lighting? Do we have street lighting?
I believe
on
that
the
I
street?
believe that's all been reviewed by Matt. Let me just confirm.
No street lights on the plan? You guys know?
I believe that's on.
We have lighting in industrial parks, interestingly enough.
Yes, I believe there is.
You stumped us, Ken.
Oh.
Favorite thing to do.
Usually-
He lives
There's
there.
usually a
known him a long
requirement for
time.
street lighting, is a requirement for street trees.
Ye- Well, so yes,
I don't have it in front of me, but I kind of remember it.
the street lighting. That's a good question. I think Matt had reviewed that. Let me see. I don't see it on here.
But
So that actually is. Yeah, I don't actually see street lighting on here. And that would be a requirement for us to approve, to accept the road. So that's going to be a question.
So,
There's
so,
no-
just, where would the lighting, where would it be because in other subdivisions, the lighting is appropriate for branch roads, you know, we usually put them at intersections, the entrance, intersections.
Yeah,
the-
so there's
the
an-
mail
so
kiosks, but
You,
what's relevant here?
you have a
would this-
driveway to the existing Orion
Okay.
Park Drive here,
Okay, who's
here,
that?
and then these lots, when they come in, those will have driveways as well.
How long's the road?
Yeah, these two lots will also have driveways, so lighting is a requirement, which
There's
I
no
think
lighting
Sean
plan.
could get that done before the next meeting, and it shouldn't affect.
What was the other thing about the lighting and
Well, usually
landscape?
there's usually a street tree plan on subdivision. Like every so many feet, you have a new tree planted. Subdivision regulations.
Oh, I think this was brought up by Matt. There is existing trees along here, along the front as well, and on the lots over here, there is also existing trees. All this has existing trees all along this frontage, all here, because this is all wooded. I can show this was brought up during our discussion.
Nobody brought up the street lighting question?
I really thought we had discussed that, but apparently it didn't show it. Yeah, so this is not an updated one, but there is existing trees. You can see all along here, all along here.
There's no landscape plan at all.
No, not for the
No
subdivision,
planting.
not for the road. They're going to come back with a separate application for the lots.
Right, okay.
We'll be adding landscaping on those without
Yeah,
question.
no matter
in comparison
question.
to what
Yeah.
we did.
I get it,
Yeah, so the existing trees that are currently out there are all of these against these lots up here, and then there are some trees over here. But the landscaping would be on the lots when they come before us.
I'm just trying to.
Because this is an
rattle off
approved,
some of the stuff.
this is an approved subdivision, so they're modifying it.
I get it, but they agreed to put it under the new subdivision regulations that we have in place right now.
Yes. Let me just confirm that right here.
It came in under what's the definition of the street? It's only 22 feet wide or something, it's a paving, it's a minor street or something like that.
Yeah, so this one falls under a minor street.
Okay, thanks.
Could we just agree that we would add plant material to it when we come back in for our lots in lieu of planting it on the street, because we don't know where our curb cuts are gonna be at this time. I mean, we'll do whatever the board would like.
Yeah, I don't see the requirement for the trees here.
But we're not gonna worry about the trees for now. Because we're gonna landscape the lots anyway, right?
Yeah, that's where the landscaping is really going to occur, is on the lots. But I don't see a requirement on the trees on that.
Well, I think the suggestion of landscaping as the lots come up and you know where the actual curb cuts are gonna go makes sense.
Yeah.
And there are existing. That's the big thing is, especially with this lot, there are already existing trees. There's existing trees here along this frontage. This is not as updated as the more recent ones, but there's trees all along here. This is all protected right now under a
Right.
open space.
Got a conservation restriction.
Yeah, there might be, and then there's also
Portion of it.
buffer here with the Conservation Commission. So, but the lots when they come back, that's really where we're going to be reviewing the landscaping.
Okay. So we feel like lighting should be reviewed and by the DPW?
Yeah, so they'll submit a plan, and I'll have Matt look at it. I'll look at it before the next meeting. I'll start working on a decision as well, because that's really kind of the outstanding issue here.
Okay.
Sean will look into it, but is there a spacing requirement on the lighting? that you're aware of, or we can look further?
Originally used.
Yeah, it's in the subdivision rules and regulations.
Okay.
I can send you the section. I can send it to Sean.
Yeah, Sean will
Yeah.
dive into.
And there might be a specific fixture too, lighting fixture.
Yeah, there's a certain height that we require.
Okay.
All right. Anything else? Do my board members have any further questions or comments? Hearing none, anyone in the room? Yes, Julianne, please step up.
Hi, Julianne Govang, 34 Groton Harvard Road. Please correct me if I'm mistaken. If I'm remembering correctly, that little keyhole area at the top,
This right here.
at the end of the road.
Yep.
Now, you mentioned that's part of the outside is protected area. Do I remember correctly with this plan, what's probably being worked out with conservation is there's an endangered species area over here, or there's some kind of something that needs to be protected?
There's a
An estimated.
there's a vernal pool, a potential vernal pool here that is and there's a buffer that comes off of that. That's what's currently going through conservation. There is also a natural heritage portion that they are going through as well, which conservation is also dealing with. That doesn't affect this right here. I don't
Okay.
believe.
Does it affect the corner jetting off of that keyhole?
This right here?
Yes.
So, let me pull up the plan for you. Yeah, so, let me just pull it up.
Hard to see.
So, right now the proposal is they're gonna be there's minimal work in here, which is what they're requesting a waiver from conservation, is so that they can install this piping here to get to the stormwater basement easement area.
Okay, when you say minimal work, do you mean like just a small channel, or do you mean like a super highway?
Superhighway. No.
No, it's for us. It's kind of
Sensitive to super highways.
it's outside of my purview. It's kind of outside of that's a conservation question, but I believe it's not very wide.
No, so let me just speak on that quickly.
Yeah.
Thank you for the question. So that pipe is the drainage for the road that's going out to the drainage area, the infiltration area, which is outside of the conservation. The pipe itself is in there, but it also serves twofold per the requirements. We need to have access to maintain the drainage area. So the area where the pipe is, that would be the access. So whatever is disturbed there would actually be the access to get back down into the drainage area.
Okay, so I'm totally familiar with that concept, but sometimes those channels that go from point A to point B turn out to be far larger than they were originally anticipated to be. So I just want to make sure that
So
I
that's
understand that conservation is on it. Someone's going to be protecting as much of that green space and green area as humanly possible.
It is. So we're only clearing enough to put a 12-inch pipe in.
12-inch pipe.
Yeah.
Do me a
Okay.
favor, the very last, this might help you for a second.
Thank you.
The very last plan shows the color code for the buffer zones.
Oh yes.
Why don't we show her this, because we'll go over this for a second. Okay, I know it's conservation, but the important part about this plan is the buffer zones are colored.
Yep.
Yes. So this is
Can you go to the upper right-hand corner where the code is, the table?
Yep.
So the table up here in the corner, although again, Heather's on the screen, but this shows you that anything in the green is within 0 to 25 feet of the wetland. The proposed in the red is 25 to 50, and the balance is 50 to 100. So
And the wetland area would be behind what we're calling.
Yeah. So this is the wetland right here.
it's the isolated wetland.
It's an isolated wetland that's potentially potential vernal pool.
So the isolated wetland is controlled in the town of Ayer wetland bylaw,
Not the state.
not the state.
Correct.
So it's an unusual situation, but in any event, conservation is covering it. But this demonstrates that the scope is pretty small going through there. It shows the location. So that's the plan that conservation has been working on, more than we have.
Okay. Thank you.
So so the green and the red, that's really the biggest portion that conservation is looking at. The purple is allowed work within that area. It's just within the 100, so you're just gotta be a little bit more sensitive to that. But yes, the red and the green area, that's the most sensitive area. That's where they're currently before the board for a waiver.
Okay, thank you.
The other thing that was important to me, that's a good question she brought up, but we're modifying an existing subdivision plan.
Yep.
If you would be so kind to go to the original subdivision plans.
Yes.
I learned a lot by going back to the old plans, which showed the same work. That's what I'm getting at. So this was from, what year was this, way back in?
2003.
Okay, so even back in 2003, the work shown is pretty much the same as it is today. So that was seen by, previous conservation commissions, previous planning boards. And it's kind of a cute plan because it's really easy to see the hay bale line here on this old plan.
It's right on it.
Very clear. The old drawing pretty much retained the exact location of the retention system and the piping. So it's kind of been there for a while.
Yeah. The basin is smaller now,
Yes.
so.
Not only that, we're keeping, if you notice that plan, that's got a discharge out to the,
Oh,
that
Oh, yeah.
area where ours is staying within the size of the basin.
Yep.
As it's demarked on the new plan.
Yes.
It's in pretty nice detail on that old plan.
There is.
I want to check, are there any comments from anyone on Zoom?
Rachel.
Hi there, Rachel Kazera, 30 Groton Harvard Road. I was just wondering, are there any plans for, I guess, like emergency challenges that might show up down the line with regard to this project? It just seems like a really sensitive area, and I know that you mentioned that like the previous plan was similar. It doesn't overlap in the same way. It seems like it's closer to that vernal pool. So I was just wondering, it just seems like it could be an avenue for some sort of, trying to think, maybe like a mistake, like during, construction work or something like that. Is the conservation agent able to speak to like any mitigation that might be put in place for, an emergency like that?
That's kind of stuff that's gonna get dealt with through the Conservation Commission. There are requirements that they're gonna have to follow through their condition through conservation, conditions that they'll have to follow through the planning board. Like most likely there's gonna be a requirement to put in straw wattles, silt fence to protect anything, make sure you're not going past that impact, because the approval only allows for them to do a certain amount of square footage of impact within buffer zone. So if they go over that, there's more effects that the Conservation Commission can then enforce. So there's a lot more that's more in the Conservation Commission question, and I would suggest that at the next Conservation Commission you can ask them.
Okay, so I apologize. So are you approving things tonight, or is this just an introduction? I apologize. It just seems like there's a lot of open-ended questions with regard to conservation, so that's why I just was wondering.
No, we're not approving this tonight.
Okay. All right, and then it seems like it's really close to this vernal pool. I just know from personal experience.
I think it's a potential vernal pool.
So it's classified as a potential vernal pool and an isolated vegetated wetland. So there are different.
Who verifies that it's an actual vernal pool?
So the only person that can verify that it's an actual vernal pool is the property owner.
Oh, okay.
That's the only. That's the only way it can be done. The state can.
So it seems like it's a sensitive area, and so I just know with construction that there's a lot of dust, there's a lot of noise, there's a lot of situations that happen. So I'm just wondering how that's going to be handled just within that sensitive area.
I would suggest that's a question for conservation at their Conservation Commission meeting.
Okay, all right, wonderful. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
We good here?
Anyone else? do not see anyone else.
Ken, you got something?
So, I'm not sure if you guys have this answer or we have to wait for the engineer, but what's the status of Natural Heritage's report?
So we responded to National Heritage, and Sean answered questions on Monday, and we have not heard back. It might have been last week, I'm sorry, but we did answer their questions. They were wondering what is happening with the totality of the development, and we don't know that. So, but Sean did respond to their questions, and we intend on calling Heather on Thursday just to follow up to see if she's heard any more. We are scheduled to go to Conservation Commission this Thursday, but we're waiting to find out where that stands, because that is the open item right now for us.
And so, this is kind of like the,
Yeah,
this will
right.
be tied. So like if they continue the next meeting, whether it's going to come down to what's happening with Natural Heritage. We can condition this, but
We typically would.
we typically would, because we as a board cannot hold up a project based on conservation. We can condition it that if anything comes out of the Conservation Commission, we would then make them come back in as a modification for whatever comes out of that. Based on what I see here, in terms of protection of the vernal pool, potential vernal pool area, and the impacts of that, conservation can deal with that as of right now. So the natural heritage question shouldn't affect us as, that much, in the sense of what was currently before us. It's going to affect conservation more than it affects us.
This is a side question, but now that I brought up the old plan, is there anybody that has an understanding of when that natural heritage line was put on that property? In other words, I wonder if it was there in the original subdivision, or they tend to move the line. I know I've seen them move the line. So it's possible that the original subdivision had some document that complied with natural heritage. That's my question. Did we research and look back on the original subdivision approval and find out that if natural heritage was in play at that time?
I did not.
Could you ask Sean to look into that?
Sure.
I'm
See if
sure,
there was-
I would assume Sean did.
Yeah.
Well, you never know.
Yep.
So,
I'll ask him.
Yeah, because the line, as you see it, is right here. You can see it run across the
right,
property.
so wouldn't it be a case that they would have had that before already, the approval?
So it's possible. I don't know, but based on what I see here, it's not shown on here.
So you can see the natural heritage line, the same one on that drawing as we have on this one?
There's nothing shown here.
Nothing showing that. That's what I'm getting at. There's nothing showing that. Okay. So there's a possibility it didn't exist back then.
It's very possible.
They've overlaid it and put the line through there.
Yeah, it's very possible that that's a newer line, which is why they're currently
Okay,
going through
fine.
it.
Thanks.
All right.
But because it is an isolated it's not protected by the state.
Right.
So,
Okay, great.
Excellent. I'd like to make a motion to continue the public hearing
to February
for
24th.
Orion Park Drive to February 24th.
Second. Go ahead.
Any discussion? Hearing none. Ken?
Aye.
Kathleen?
Yes.
Nathan?
Aye.
Julie?
Yes.
Chair votes aye. We'll continue it. We're good with the constructive approval deadlines.
Yeah.
Just double check.
Since
Thank
they
you.
continued, that's
Thank you, gentlemen.
Just want to tell the board members that Danny's been most helpful
Oh, great.
to us in the
Thank
last
you.
6 months that we've been working on this, and very responsive, and it's really been a pleasure to work with him. Doesn't mean he's going to get a pay raise. But he's been very helpful to us.
thank you.
Thank you all.
All right, thank you.
Guys.
Take care. All right, project status updates.
Have we, just a quick question for the chair, have we, and Danny, have we decided that this is a better approach to just have an item that says project status updates instead of highlighting each project?
We did that to allow ourselves
I
to
thought that gives us more
discuss.
flexibility,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, that gives us a little bit more flexibility.
There's
Thank
more
you.
flexibility.
Yeah,
on
I
the-
like that idea.
Initially, the first thing I want to update the board is on Nasoya. So they are currently working through their interiors. I know they're looking for to start production soon, using the interior portion of that to start productions. The engineers have reached out to myself and to Matt regarding as-built and kind of what we're looking for so that they can start the process of closing out. I don't think they're anywhere there yet because the force main's has not been installed, and if you go out there, the site's kind of not been fully stabilized. There's still some work to go, but I think Bay State Engineering's on their starting their process of getting that moving along. So I think we'll be getting some sort of a submission for as-built. Maybe middle of this year. I'm expecting once the force main kind of goes in and we have all the other utilities all fully installed. Pine Street. So for Pine Street, let me just pull up my list. So on Pine Street, they're currently working out there as well. I did send, we had a discussion at land use regarding the project in terms of the paper street and who owns it and who doesn't own it, because it's technically a paper street. The town doesn't own it yet because they haven't accepted the road yet. So that was the question that they had for National Grid. So they're starting that process with National, yes.
I know a little bit about that.
Yes, yeah. So they're starting the process of discussing National Grid and bringing in power. So since the town doesn't own it, the applicant is taking ownership. It goes under their name, and then they transfer it to us. Yeah, there's quite the process that kind of goes into that. So we'll I'm hoping we'll get that cleared up pretty quickly for them. But they're starting the process.
They were entitled to frontage in the whole concept because of that paper street.
Yes.
So valid frontage.
Yep, exactly. So 42 Park Street, I've already updated the board on that. We're just waiting till springtime so we can get those done. The substation.
I have a question on 42 Park. Is the lighting compliant?
So that was a discussion we have had. I brought it up with them. I don't know if they've complied with that just yet. We have a long list.
It's on the list.
And I don't know if they've done that yet, just yet.
Okay.
But we have a very long list of items that they have to get to. There's another issue that has come up regarding that project and access with 44 Park Street. So that's another thing that's kind of come up. The owners of 44 Park Street are looking for whether or not the 42 Park Street has an easement allowed to get in and out. So I know they're currently dealing with that as well. So I feel like there's new things that just keep popping up on this. So the substation right now, they have some proposed modification to get rid of the septic, as well as connect sewer into the road. That's extending the root sewer line in the road of Bishop Road, and as part of that, there's some other work that's going to be done with the town with connection to sewer, connecting to drainage in that area. So there's a lot of work that's going to be happening in that area. So right now, I'm working on issuing a minor modification letter for the substation. They're also adding another driveway as well.
That reminds me of something that came up. So we did not have, I don't believe, on their approval a requirement for landscaping along that road at the time. We talked about it. But
They have proposed landscaping.
So they have.
On the plan, yeah. There was proposed landscaping. There were some, I believe it was like 12 pine trees that they were.
I couldn't remember the exact details, but
Yes.
I was concerned that there might not be enough landscaping. So
There is a proposal of landscaping that they're showing along there.
Thank you.
At the next meeting, the board is going to be getting an application for 63 Main Street.
Right.
That'll be before the board. The That's for 10 units with an office space on the first floor. 50 Jackson Street, that's another one that's going to be coming from the board. That was actually the same as Seal Harbor, who's doing 14 Washington Street. They're going to be coming to the board soon. I did receive their application, but there's some modifications that came out of a meeting that we had, so they're going to be resubmitting it. I'm hoping soon, so that we can get that process going. And as 3 to 5 Park Street, that was approved, but that the appeal period on that runs out on the 19th, so that's currently going through that. And then we have a couple of other projects that are in the pipeline that potentially could be coming forth.
The gentleman on the project that goes around the other side of the tracks, towards Moore's in the back, but I'm forgetting the name of the street, unfortunately.
Scully.
Scully, off
Yes.
West Main Street.
Yes.
Scully, the gentleman who was gonna put in the
Yes, the fires.
fire stuff.
I actually reached out to Limhut on that one. He said he was reaching out back to him on a new proposal for work to, I guess, to start construction. I don't know where
Okay.
they're at, but I know that there's discussions going on.
Okay.
And then 91 Groton Harvard Road. They're right now into winter
Yeah,
conditions.
they're stuck right now.
Yeah, right now. Anything else at the board?
Stratton Hill?
They're moving forward.
Yeah,
The
that's
same
what I thought.
as is.
Well.
They're still going up there.
Alright.
I
And
don't
I
think
did.
they're really going.
There is some work going on up there. I know they had sent recently. They were doing some work, and then I think they just recently entered winter conditions. Just recently. Yeah.
In the last
so
couple of
they
weeks,
didn't plow either entrance, so
Yeah.
the trucks have been going and getting stuck and then not going.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think they just recently entered winter conditions. I know National Grid is still.
Did they plow themselves or National Grid just like?
They
I
just
don't know.
go for it.
That I don't know.
They just do it.
Some kind of system got delivered to the
Fuel.
Oh,
Yeah.
they did it?
This morning.
next to my house. Yeah, but there's also it looks like it's upside down, but some kind of whole big system came. Like there's some new box. And
I don't know.
It's probably
And-
drainage. It must be drainage structure. So you think it's National Grid, or you think it's?
No. The
At the pump station?
Thank you. Yes.
Oh,
the
it
pump
might-
station on right, like,
Oh.
next to my house.
I don't know. I
Yeah,
mean,
Yeah, just
it doesn't. What does it look like?
it's probably like 5 feet by 5 feet, like a big cube, and it's upside down, and there's pipes coming out of it.
I saw it when I was watching
Oh, it
the
might-
dogs, and it said that
might be the
fuel
generator?
cell or fuel.
It might be the
More fuel?
it might be the backup generator.
A backup to the backup. I mean, it's
Well,
new.
no,
Like it was.
yeah, it might be what they install
Okay.
once for with
Alright.
National Grid and
because they
stuff
came
like
and
that.
did a bunch of plowing this past day or two.
I can check with Matt. Yeah, but
I'll
I-
be over at DPW tomorrow.
Oh, okay. yeah, I mean, I know we're not really getting updates much on the pump station stuff, but I can ask him for that.
Thanks.
Now,
Yes,
part I've been waiting for.
master plan.
Oh, the master plan.
So,
But let's just remind everyone.
yes.
I'll do that we have an obligation every 10 years to update the master plan. Our master plan must be updated by, I believe, at the end of calendar year 27 to be ready for 28. We remember a few years ago, Julie and I did kind of an interim master plan review, which was very helpful with all the departments to determine where we are and where the priorities are. And it looks like we're getting ready to gear up to do another 10-year master plan. And this time, the planning board will be taking the lead on this. This wasn't possible the last time. There are issues, but this time we will be taking the lead. There you go. I just said,
Yes.
take it from there.
So, first is the board. I know wants to take the lead. Does the board also want to have a consultant? In my opinion, I would say a consultant would be helpful with the outreach, with setting up the taking in the information, digesting the information, and letting the board kind of putting it in a form that the board can then look at and kind of put it in the way that they want.
Yeah, I'll offer my opinion and open it up. I would prefer that first, internally, we had a meeting with all the parties involved, with the planning board, but all the other departments involved, a high-level meeting first to determine what is it we would expect to want from the consultant, how much work would we take and how much work they would take. I just want to make sure that we retain leadership at every stage.
Oh, yes.
Not the planning board, I mean the town.
Yes.
Leadership at every stage. So I would say that the consultant comes after, at least we have a sense of what we expect from them collectively. And then I think it would be appropriate to get a consultant to support us.
Yes. So, and the reason I'm asking this is because we have to get funding.
Yes.
So this is something that I need the board to start thinking about, because if we need the funding, then we'll need approval from town meeting, or we'll need to do grants. So this is why I want the board to start discussing this.
How do we make the decision of town meeting versus grants? How do we do that?
It depends on kind of what it is that the scope of work that we're looking for. So a lot of this stuff is, that's why I want this 2026 is a lot of the planning. 2027 will be where the work is occurring. A lot of that stuff is that's when the consultant will be, we'll be hosting all those meetings. We'll be holding the public outreach. That's when all that occurs. But 2026 is kind of the year of planning for that. So my intent is, like right now, I'm starting to meet with all of the departments internally, see where they are on the responsibilities, what has been done, what hasn't been done, what needs work, and then to have them start looking at potential new goals.
Yeah.
And then so what'll end up happening is I will also start going to the boards, because a lot of these boards are also have responsibilities which also kind of tie into usually the like a town planner, conservation agent, stuff like that. There's usually a tie in with that DPW, the select board with the town manager.
So one of the things, if we were to say go to town meeting to request funding, we'd have to have a number in mind, right?
Yeah.
And how would we arrive at that number in mind?
We would set out a scope. We'd send that out for an RFP.
Before town meeting?
Oh yeah.
Well, and then get a response how much it costs, and then I put that in. So we'd have to do the work, get the one vendor we want, get the quote, come to town meeting. So are you looking at town meeting in April?
No, not even. We are a long ways away.
Okay, so this is why I want to have this conversation. So the other town meeting in October.
Yeah.
Which would bring, right, and we want to start work. Does that give us enough of a window then for starting work at the 27?
Yes.
All right, if that's viable, fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because it shouldn't take. I mean, it could take about a year, but with having a consultant assisting, and this is going to be another thing, is the board will most likely have to have a subcommittee of master plan, where there's going to be other board members that are going to be put on, like someone from conservation, someone from zoning board, someone from the select board.
10 people
So
minimum.
yeah, there's going to be
Yeah, it's huge.
there's going to be residents that are going to need to be put on it. So there's all of this process. These are all the things that we start game planning for. Once that gets all put into place, 2027.
Would you be so kind as to send me an outline of the steps that need to take place this year?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I would appreciate that.
That's kind of like why I just wanted. This is kind of like a
Yeah, no, I
precursor
know.
meeting,
No, that's
so that the
good.
board can understand that there's a lot that we have to start working on, which is why I'm starting now.
So if I have a list of those action steps, what that enables me and us to do is to start moving on some of them, because some of the things don't require approvals or funding. There's certain things we can actually start.
Yeah.
So that's why I'd like to look at that list, and also so we start to understand who the potential committee members might be, who'd be interested.
Yep.
Okay, because we definitely don't want to leave that to the last minute.
No, definitely not. And the way typically what you see it is, there's multiple members from the planning board on these, and usually there's. And I know at the on your last.
2 or 3, do you think?
I would typically say, you know.
You can go back to the last master plan, that's on the website.
Yes.
Okay.
But.
And I would recommend that somebody, this board, read that master plan.
Yep.
And I would recommend that they look at the people that are.
The committee.
The committee, and you'll find some very well-versed people that were on those committees before.
Yep.
And took a lot of time, and it's a
The only.
big deal.
Yeah, it is. And the
I'm
only.
sure we have the quote from the consultant who did it the last time available.
Yeah, but
That was a.
And you could double that price today,
Well,
probably.
not necessarily.
I would so. We can get into the pricing. We can
Right.
get into the consultant.
But
that's not the issue here.
it's a lot.
Yeah, it is. Oh no, and that's why we're starting the discussion now.
So
Exactly.
for us, do you think it would be 2 or 3? For our.
I would suggest. It's a question that I need to ask council is whether or not
Council, please.
if we have 3
Yeah.
now it's a quorum
Right.
of planning board and we're calling a planning board
I
meeting
think 2
and
would
master
be
plan.
appropriate.
It's I would say 2.
2 would be appropriate, I think.
We also
Otherwise,
I know at the last
we're overrepresented on the overall thing. If
Correct.
it's 2, that's appropriate because the planning board's in the lead. That's fine, but 3 skews the.
Excuse exactly.
Okay, right.
And what I would also say is I know the last master plan committee there were 2 chairs or co-chairs.
What the hell?
Probably co-chairs, and Alan was very involved in it. I can
Yes,
say that much.
we will not be doing that.
You remember that, right?
I do.
I'm going
That's very
to
well.
just lay that out now. We will not have co-chairs. That gets very messy. I have been through that experience before. We will definitely not be doing that. We need one person who can take the lead
Yeah.
and be my point person. I don't want to have to, because in my experience, I've done this in Salisbury. When you have 2 co-chairs, you're dealing with both of them. They don't always agree, and then it
defeats
gets-
the purpose
it
of
gets
having
very
a
messy.
lead. Right.
So you need one chair.
One chair.
And then there's going to be multiple members from other boards, and then the residents, and we'll have to do what the select board typically does. They'll appoint, you know, a resident like we do for working groups and stuff like that. So a lot of this process will start getting put together.
And then is that committee approved by the select board? Is that or anything like that? Or
It's under the purview of the planning board,
So
master plan.
okay.
So I'm just gonna run that by council as
Okay.
well. I know the select board would do the residents, but I don't know if you as the
Right.
planning board would choose the members
Right.
from the other boards.
So a second thing, so in addition to the outline of steps, that would be helpful. The other thing is maybe we should, I'd like to come up with as many questions we have for council at once, so we have to keep going to them.
Correct.
So we could do one pass,
Yep.
if possible, come up with a question. So I think we already have 2, right?
Yes.
We
And I think what would help me is if everyone starts looking at the master plan, thinking about I don't know if who was on the master plan committee at that point.
I wasn't on the committee, but I was involved
Okay, you were involved.
quite a bit.
Were you involved?
I was only on the peripheral, was not on the
Okay.
committee.
Yeah, we were
I wasn't here yet.
Okay. All right. So only one person was involved at this point, and he was in the peripheral. He's saying so.
I attended some meetings, sat there in the audience,
Yeah.
listening,
A lot,
you know,
right?
stuff like that.
Yeah. It would be helpful if you can also start thinking about who you think would be good on these from other boards to ask them to join. It's something that I'm going to send out to all of the boards so they can start looking. We can have a planning board member go to these meetings with me to discuss these master plan stuff for outreach and seeing who wants to be on that board, and thinking about residents as well, and just the overall process, as well as looking at the master plan to see what it is you guys want from there, that you see, that you like, and what you don't like, and kind of what you envision coming out of this, and whatever questions you may have regarding the overall master plan in general.
Okay.
I thought, excuse me, go ahead.
I just remember from that process, 10 years ago, more than 10 years ago at this, well, 10, learning a lot as a group, right? As a town, we learned a lot. That was a big investment that seemed very new for everyone, and it was a lot of dialogue. And I know I would like us to make sure we're looking back at the work you and I did, Jonathan.
Absolutely.
We had some very specific
Yes, actually, I have that right here.
goals
We
that we
do have
wanted
some-
to
yes,
do,
right.
and I asked you this question actually, Julianne. I don't know if you heard me earlier, but I've been getting the emails from other towns as far as how off of our conversation, right, about which towns are communicating and how that's going. And Danny, you shared it's just shared with me some like planning boards that I want to look at and see what we model off of. So I would take those same questions and put it here.
Yeah.
I think Jonathan and I, and as a town when we did this before, wanted a different feel for the
Right.
next master plan.
Right.
Yeah.
And are there ones you already
Like-
say these are towns? Hey, check them out. Like, what have they done just to start
I can
inspiring us?
start
That would
doing
be
that
really
too.
cool to
Yeah.
be looking at those things.
I mean, I know I've said it before, but I'll say it again, that what I want is a master plan that's actionable. That
Yeah.
is clear, people know exactly what the priorities are for the department,
Yeah.
and there's less ambiguity. I mean, one of the problems with
Way
the
less
current
emissions.
master plan is that there's like 80% of the priorities are highest.
Yep.
I mean, that's ridiculous.
It's crazy.
That's contradictory. We're gonna work on it.
To be fair, on a lot of those high priorities, a lot of them have been
Oh,
completed.
I know, no,
Yeah.
I know
We
that.
got a lot of-
Like I've been and that was one of the big things is I went through what we have here and I just highlighted all the ones that are completed in green, the ones that are no longer applicable in red, and then I went through all the comments and started adding in things that I have already seen, what's done, what's been added to these in the process, so I have comments from me, and I'm gonna have more comments from other, I've already spoken with Heather, I've already spoken with Ray, Alicia, I spoke with Sam and Mike from the building, so I'm already starting this to gather
Yeah,
these
good.
comments and questions to look at these, because a lot of these some of these are ongoing or in the process, but will always be ongoing and in the process.
Right.
So a lot of these questions are they things that need to be in the master plan in the next
Exactly.
revision, or is it something that we already know? Like, specifically like with the affordable housing stuff, like there was something about websites and like updating that. I'm like, okay, it's done and it's continuing to go.
Right.
We don't need to carry that over to the
We
master
don't.
plan. So these are the things that I'm starting to look at and meet with these other town board, people,
Right.
and really start narrowing down what it is that we're looking for.
Exactly, because remember, it's a plan. If it's already in progress, it's no longer a plan, it's operations.
Yeah.
So we want the plan to be about plans, right? Okay.
I just had one comment that I did remember from back then, and I want to say that prior to the last update, the conversation that happened then was that the town may have mailed it in the past, that they were really concentrating 10 years ago to not just use a continuation of old master plans.
Right, exactly.
They were really trying to put together a new full-fledged master plan. So in that vein, it may have been more precise, it included more items, because there was a feeling back then that the town had mailed it in the previous master plans. And now we're gonna really do a job. So they
And-
did a big job.
And to build on that.
Yeah.
A lot of energy around it
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, and to build on that, there's a lot of new things that go into master plan. Sustainability is a big thing that is being put into that.
Right.
For smart growth, there's all of these things that, climate change. These are all big things that normally you don't see included in master plans, but new towns are, as they're
Right.
updating them, they're including this stuff so that you have a game plan as to how are you combating climate change? How are you creating a sustainable environment and town? Including energy, businesses, housing, all of that stuff.
Right.
So
It's
all
big.
these components.
Yeah, that's a
It's
lot.
not going to be a repeat of the last one. There's going to be a lot of new information,
It sure will be.
I think it's
and the
great.
town has changed quite a bit from when it was last done.
That's right. Okay, great.
Nice start, Danny, thank you.
Yep, thank you. You have the meeting minutes. I said my recommended, my suggested edits.
Yeah,
Anyone want to make the motion, or shall I do it?
I'll make a motion.
Go for it.
I'll make a motion that the planning board approve the January 27, 2026 meeting minutes.
Seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Ken?
Aye.
Kathleen?
I was
Nate?
there.
Oh, I'm sorry, Kathleen, you're right.
She's abstained.
You abstain. Nathan?
Aye.
Julie?
Yes.
And the chair votes aye. Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Good night, everybody. Thank you very much.